West brings their general manager in. What questions you have? I don't have anything to tell you, so what questions do you have?
Do you think your team, or maybe any team, can get used to playing at a certain level in a certain competition, and then like, when you play a team like Tulsa where they step it up, that you're kind of a little bit taken aback by? Do you think that might have happened to you the first game?
Well, I think what happened the first game was really defensively, we played well, and then there was too many 3 and outs and too many times on the field. That's what I thought, as far as you can't give them that many opportunities. And offensively, I thought their defense played faster than our offense was blocking them. That's really what took place in that game. I thought special teams, we basically did some good things. So, you know, you head to the second time, and it's amazing that normally if you play another opponent, it's not a week away. Right? There's a lot of retention in what both teams saw and did. So it should be an interesting game. But I do think the key is you practice. You gotta basically have your show teams come a lot faster pace, and again, we practice that way, and we've picked up the pace this week as far as the show team and run plays.
Yeah, it's not often you get to play a team twice, let alone in 3 weeks. How helpful is it that you can throw on tape from a game 2 weeks ago and say, this is what they did against you here, and not necessarily what they did against
I think
else?
for the coaches, it's, you know, whether it's the first game or the 9th game, 10th game, it really doesn't matter. But for the players, I think you got to remind them each week what day it is. So I think it's important that, you know, that from a retention standpoint, the smart kids are going to remember things. The kids that aren't as gifted, it's like it's a new team. You know, you start all over again. But I think we have enough smart guys that have been around, that played enough games, that I think understand what we didn't do right and what we need to do right.
When you say that they played faster than you blocked, is that as simple as an energy thing, a level, you know, pace of play, or
Well,
is there
put
technique
this
and
way,
scheme stuff?
if I went to punch you in the mouth and you didn't duck, you're not quick enough.
Then that's the message to the offensive line.
That's the message to the offensive line. So if you can picture that, that's what it is. I'm sure you don't want to picture that.
No, I think I'm quick enough, Coach.
We'll see. As long as your camera stays still.
What did they kind of do defending? You said their middle linebacker really terrorized you guys.
Well, you didn't, I don't use the word terrorize. All right. We had people there that he just basically, we didn't block them. You know, you don't block people, you block people with your hands and your feet. And then we got to do a better job of that. Now, he's a very good football player, but, you know, again, we had people there that didn't do the things they need to do from a technique standpoint. And again, they didn't do anything different than we had practiced and stuff. So we just didn't get it done offensively up front. And defensively, I thought we made some good plays, kept us in the game the first half. But again, when we need the ball back, there was too many sustained drives. And I just thought that, you know, we got to basically, we're the kind of team that I don't think we're dominant in any one phase, offense or defense, but collectively, they got to play together. You got to secure more first downs and move chains, and defensively it has to keep field position for us. So I think that's how the game works, and that's every week we win that with that thought process.
I know from a defensive standpoint, you can't be happy with the yards given up against UAB. I know you were shorthanded a little bit. A couple guys went out of the game. Are you seeing?
No, they're on scholarship. No, you sound like the coaches. It was an awful exhibition of defensive football Saturday, in my opinion. I think the energy that you tried to establish wasn't there, and it showed in the tackling, the poor tackling performance, and there's no excuses. It falls back on myself, and that one, I've been coaching a long time. I've never been involved with a defensive game with that many yards, and a lot of people heard about it on Sunday.
Coach, no teams have been in the Conference State Championship more than you in Tulsa. You guys have been kind of stalwarts there. It's kind of fitting that with the conference shakeup coming on, these teams are meeting one more time to kind of decide the conference championship.
Well, I told them when I saw them after the game, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I didn't mean that to be on video, the guy was, I guess he must have been hiding behind. But he got it, and I'm not gonna backtrack. I told him we'd see him in 2 weeks, and we will. We'll see him this Saturday, and hopefully that, we can do the things right that we need to do.
You talked about not being happy with the pass rush against UAB. How different is the team when especially Troy has got that energy, is getting to the quarterback? Can you talk about?
Well, it's not Troy. It, to me, needs to play every play, and if he gets a little bit of, Troy is the kind of kid that he has to have success early. As I watch him, if he's not successful early, he's almost like he starts doing things he shouldn't be doing within the defensive scheme. So I'm very aware of that when he's on the field. And again, it's not just Troy. There's 10 other kids I thought that we send dogs, and they got to come home. The best you're going to get is one-on-one, and unless they're not blocking you. And you got to be able to beat people once in a while. Use your hands, and just like when I was going to punch you, you would have ducked. Same thing. They got to duck and make a play.
George, what's the tenor been like? Because
Wow.
losing can be a great motivating factor.
Yeah, it is. We're looking forward. The kids were annoyed after the game when we were there, and they same thing. I didn't say anything. I said, we got an opportunity to be back here, fellas. That's what I told them, and I said we got some work to do before that, but we have an opportunity to get back here, and when we do, we better bring a different football team than I just saw out there, especially offensively. So they understand that, and this is a week, Pat, where if you have to say a lot to get them ready to play, you got problems. You got problems. Why? They have an opportunity to reach the only goal that they set for themselves is the conference championship, and they have a chance to reach that, and that's all needs to be really said. If their goal meant something when they made it, that's how they got it.
How important is this conference championship to the program?
I think it's important. It's another game. It's another championship. That's the goal, and I think we're leaving the conference, and it'd be a good way to say goodbye. And I've liked Conference USA. They've treated us very well, and I appreciate what they've done for our program and to get us, started. And but I think like everybody else, you got to go where you can afford things and help the programs out from a stream of revenue. So, but again, it's important because you only get to play for a certain amount of championships, especially if you're a college player. Those are the games you remember. You don't remember the games, some other games, but you do remember the championship games because that's where the good players play well, and the guys who win the game, your average players play good. That's how you win championships.